Welcome to Starbound Valor HFY. Subscribe now and dive into daily epic sci-fi adventures where humanity always rises. The day began like any other at NASA, but something felt wrong. In the mission control room, dozens of scientists sat staring at their screens, their eyes wide with disbelief. The numbers did not make sense. The universe was supposed to expand slowly, a gentle stretching of space that had been happening for billions of years, but the data showed it was moving faster than ever, far beyond any calculation they had made. And even stranger, the center of this acceleration seemed to be Earth. Dr. Elena Morris, one of the lead astrophysicists, rubbed her eyes and adjusted her glasses, thinking it must be a mistake. She double-checked the readings, then triple-checked them, but the result was always the same. The universe was reacting to something happening on Earth. The room was quiet except for the soft hum of computers and the occasional beep of a warning alert. Everyone felt the weight of it, though no one spoke. Something unprecedented was unfolding, and no one knew what it meant. Outside, the sun rose over Houston, oblivious to the cosmic alarm unfolding in the lab. Dr. Morris clicked through the telescope feeds from observatories around the world. Every telescope told the same story. The stars, the galaxies, even the farthest reaches of space, all showed tiny but unmistakable ripples of energy spreading outward, as if the universe itself were trembling. The pattern was uniform, directed, and precise, almost like someone, or something, was pushing space outward. The scientists whispered to one another, unsure if they should announce it to the world. Panic was not yet allowed, but fear simmered beneath their calm. They ran simulations, trying to find any natural cause, dark energy, quantum fluctuations, unknown cosmic particles. Nothing fit. Every hypothesis failed. It was as if reality itself was bending in response to an unseen force. Dr. Morris glanced at her colleagues. She saw the same thought in every face: Earth might be responsible. At first, it sounded ridiculous. How could one tiny planet, full of struggling humans and cities, influence the expansion of the entire universe? Yet the data was undeniable. And the more they looked, the more patterns emerged, subtle signals emanating from Earth, weak but measurable, that matched the speed and direction of the cosmic acceleration. Someone joked nervously that humans had finally become gods without even knowing it. The room laughed, but it was hollow, uneasy laughter. The government had already begun a quiet lockdown of sensitive areas, restricting information. The world outside continued as normal, unaware that humanity had suddenly become the center of a cosmic mystery. Dr. Morris decided to run a last test, a desperate attempt to find an error. She connected the main supercomputer to a network of satellites, telescopes, and particle detectors, creating a real-time map of the universe around Earth. The visualization made everyone in the room hold their breath. Lines of energy stretched outward, radiating in all directions from the planet. The pattern pulsed rhythmically, almost like a heartbeat. Each pulse made the expansion accelerate slightly more. The scientists exchanged glances. No natural explanation could create something so perfect, so organized. Someone whispered, "It's alive." The word hung in the air, impossible and terrifying. Dr. Morris's hands trembled as she tapped her keyboard, running every calculation she could think of. Every number confirmed it: the expansion of the universe was not random. It was responding to something on Earth, and whatever it was growing stronger. She thought of the implications. If the universe was reacting to humanity, then humans were no longer small, insignificant creatures on a pale blue dot. They were central, pivotal, perhaps even dangerous on a scale no one could comprehend. Outside the lab, life went on, oblivious to the fact that every breath humans took, every action they made, might be subtly reshaping reality. The scientists sat in silence, each lost in their own thoughts, knowing they were witnessing something history would call unimaginable. And then, in a low voice that no one expected, Dr. Morris said, "We have to tell someone." But who? And what will they do? The question had no answer. They were alone at the center of a cosmic mystery, and the universe was watching. The computers beeped again, showing another spike in the acceleration. Dr. Morris stared at the screen, heart pounding. Whatever was happening, it was only the beginning. The impossible readings were real, and humanity's role in the universe was about to change forever. She leaned back in her chair, feeling a strange mixture of fear and awe. Somewhere deep inside, she knew life on Earth would never be the same again. The pulse continued, growing stronger, spreading farther, touching galaxies she had only seen as dots of light. And as the scientists watched, a chilling thought took hold. Whatever force humanity had awakened, it was alive, and it was waiting for something. The world above Antarctica seemed calm and empty, a frozen desert of white stretching to the horizon, but beneath the ice, something had begun to stir. NASA's top team had been dispatched in secret, a small squad of scientists and engineers traveling in specially equipped planes and snow vehicles, their mission classified and urgent. As they landed on the thick ice, the wind howled like a living thing, but their minds were focused on the readings that had first appeared on satellites months ago, strange energy pulses coming from deep under the ice, pulses that matched none of Earth's natural phenomena. Dr. Elena Morris led the team, her face pale under the harsh glow of the lamps, but her eyes sharp and alert. They set up the drilling equipment and began boring through kilometers of ice, listening to the hum of the machines echoing like a heartbeat in the cold emptiness. Each meter they drilled made the signal stronger, sharper, and more defined, until finally, the drill broke through to a vast, empty cavity. The sensors went wild, and the team exchanged stunned glances. Before them lay a structure unlike anything human eyes had seen, smooth and metallic, with sharp edges that reflected their lights in strange, almost liquid ways. Energy pulses danced across its surface, glowing symbols moving in patterns that seemed alive, and the air around it crackled with static. It was warm, unnaturally warm, and when Dr. Morris stepped closer, she felt a vibration through the ground, a deep hum that resonated inside her chest. They deployed drones to explore the interior, small, armored probes designed to withstand unknown conditions, but as soon as the first drone entered the entrance, the signal spiked violently, and the drone's camera feed went dark. Moments later, a burst of light shot from the structure, and the sensors detected an energy pulse that spread beyond the ice, echoing through the layers of Earth's crust. The team retreated slightly, unsure if the structure had noticed them. "It's alive," whispered one of the engineers, his voice trembling. Dr. Morris did not respond, her mind racing. They had found something ancient, something that had waited, hidden for thousands, maybe millions of years, and now it was awake. The symbols on the surface shifted, forming shapes that seemed familiar but impossible to decipher, as if the structure was trying to communicate in a language older than humanity itself. The hum grew louder, almost like a song, and the temperature in the cavity rose without warning, yet none of their instruments could explain why. They tried to record the readings, every pulse, every flash, but the data itself seemed unstable, changing as if the act of observing it influenced it. Then, without warning, the structure opened. Not a door in the normal sense, but a passage of pure energy, a corridor that shimmered and twisted, and for a moment, the team felt as if they were looking into the heart of the universe itself. The ice around the structure groaned and cracked under the pressure of something unseen, and the wind outside rose into a storm, as if the planet itself had sensed the awakening. Dr. Morris stepped forward, driven by a mix of fear and curiosity, her breath visible in the cold air, and the structure pulsed in response, as though acknowledging her presence. The signals grew stronger, transmitting patterns that seemed to match human brain waves, and the scientists realized with a shiver that the structure responded to life itself, perhaps to humanity specifically. Every test they ran showed the same result. The closer they got, the more the energy pulsed, as if the structure had been waiting for them, waiting for someone to awaken it. It was then that the first strange vision appeared. One of the engineers, a young man named Carter, froze, staring at the energy corridor with wide eyes. He described seeing humans, not modern humans, but figures taller and stronger, reaching out to the stars, shaping planets, bending light and energy around them. No one else saw it, yet the air seemed charged with their presence. Dr. Morris felt a similar sensation, a deep connection she could not explain, a memory that was not her own, whispering truths about a past that should not exist. The team was divided between awe and terror, knowing they had discovered something far beyond comprehension, something that predated humanity yet was inexplicably linked to it. As night fell over the frozen landscape, the storm outside intensified, snow whipping against the vehicles and tents, but inside the cavern, the structure glowed brighter, sending pulses upward, almost like it was signaling the universe. Dr. Morris realized then that the readings they had seen from space, the strange acceleration of the universe itself, might be connected to this very structure, that whatever force humanity had unknowingly triggered could be amplified here, in the heart of Antarctica. The realization was terrifying. The universe was reacting to something on Earth, and this ancient technology, or life, beneath the ice could be the key. The team could not leave, curiosity would not allow it, yet fear rooted them in place, knowing that every moment they stayed, the energy grew stronger, almost as if the structure were alive and aware of their thoughts, their presence, even their intentions. Hours passed, and the structure pulsed in silent rhythm, the symbols shifting in patterns more complex than any language known to man, and the scientists recorded everything, knowing these readings would change everything humanity believed about itself and the universe. Dr. Morris took a deep breath, looking at the glowing entrance, feeling the hum resonate in her chest. She whispered, almost to herself, "This is only the beginning," and as she spoke, a final pulse shot from the structure, bright enough to light the ice like day, sending a shockwave through the sensors that made every instrument spike. The team watched, frozen in awe, as the signal spread outward, beyond the ice, beyond Earth itself, like a ripple reaching for the stars. And deep in the heart of the structure, something moved, unseen, awakening after eons of silence, waiting for what was to come next. The energy from the Antarctic structure continued to pulse through the ice and into the world above, and Dr. Elena Morris and her team began analyzing the samples they had collected from the cavern, hoping to understand what lay beneath the frozen desert. At first, the readings were confusing, full of strange particles, waves, and energy patterns that no one could explain, but then the truth hit them like a lightning bolt. The energy signature matched human DNA. The team froze in disbelief, staring at the monitors, unsure if they were seeing reality or some glitch in the instruments. Human DNA, inside something ancient, something clearly not made by humans, something older than civilization itself. Dr. Morris felt her heart race as she double-checked the results, then triple-checked them, but the reading was undeniable. The structure, this impossibly advanced object buried beneath kilometers of ice, was somehow connected to humanity at a fundamental level, and it had been waiting for them to find it. As they explored further, the structure reacted to their presence in ways that defied explanation. The glowing symbols shifted, forming patterns that mirrored the sequences in human genes, pulsing in rhythm with their heartbeats, and the temperature in the chamber rose and fell as if in tune with their emotions. Every step they took made the energy stronger, every word they spoke seemed to echo in the pulsing light, and the deeper they went, the more they realized that the structure was not passive. It was alive in a way that defied biology and physics alike. Then the visions began. Each scientist experienced them differently, yet all saw the same impossible images, humans in forms taller and stronger than any living today, standing on barren planets and touching the stars, shaping light and energy with their minds, creating galaxies, and moving planets like pieces on a chessboard. Dr. Morris clutched her head as the images overwhelmed her senses. It was as if their own DNA carried memories of something far older than recorded history, a story of power and creation hidden in the very building blocks of life. One by one, the team realized they were connected not only to the structure but to each other in ways that transcended normal communication. Thoughts and feelings intertwined, a shared awareness forming in the chamber, and every pulse of the structure seemed to respond to this new collective consciousness. They experimented cautiously, reaching out toward the glowing symbols with hands and minds, and to their astonishment, the patterns shifted and flowed according to their intent. The structure was not only alive, it was reactive, almost sentient, responding directly to human thought. Fear and wonder battled within the scientists as they struggled to comprehend what they had found. Could humans have built this long ago? Or was it something that had been designed to recognize humans when the time was right? The energy continued to surge, creating waves of light that stretched toward the ceiling and beyond, and Dr. Morris realized that this was connected to the impossible cosmic readings they had seen from space, the accelerating expansion of the universe itself. The universe was responding, and the key was inside every human being, inside their very DNA. The implications were terrifying and awe-inspiring. Somewhere in the depths of the structure, a chamber opened that seemed to pulse with infinite energy, a glowing sphere that radiated warmth and light unlike anything on Earth. The sensors could barely measure it, as if the instruments themselves feared the power they were witnessing. Dr. Morris and her team approached cautiously, but the structure did not resist. It pulsed in welcome, or perhaps in recognition, and the moment they neared, a surge of energy shot through the air, brushing against their bodies, and for an instant, each scientist felt as if they could see the universe from every angle at once. The visions intensified. They saw stars being born and dying in moments, galaxies spinning and colliding, and all the while, they felt the pulse of human potential woven into the cosmos itself. The structure had chosen humanity as its key, and the connection was not accidental. It was part of a larger plan, something older than Earth, older than humanity, yet inseparably linked to them. The team could not look away from the glowing sphere as it emitted pulses of increasing intensity, and Dr. Morris felt her mind opening to knowledge she was not prepared to understand. Thoughts, ideas, and memories that were not hers seemed to flow through her consciousness, giving her glimpses of the universe's hidden mechanics, the forces that govern creation, and the power that humans could wield if they awakened fully. She gasped and staggered, overwhelmed by the magnitude of what they had discovered. This is human," she whispered, her voice trembling. "It's in us. It's always been in us." Every scientist in the chamber felt it, the undeniable truth that humanity was no ordinary species, that their DNA carried the blueprint of something far greater than they had ever imagined. The structure responded to this realization, glowing brighter and sending a wave of energy skyward, toward the heavens, as if signaling the cosmos itself. The ice around them trembled slightly, as if acknowledging that something ancient and powerful had awakened once more. Dr. Morris knew the world outside was still unaware, that life continued as normal, but she also knew there was no turning back. Humanity had just begun to realize its place in the universe, and the consequences of this awakening would ripple far beyond Earth. The structure pulsed one final, massive surge before dimming slightly, leaving the scientists breathless, their minds buzzing with images and knowledge too vast to comprehend. Somewhere in that vast network of energy and DNA, something had recognized them, chosen them, and perhaps waited for them to take the next step. Dr. Morris looked at her team, each face pale but alive with a mixture of fear, wonder, and exhilaration. She knew that what they had found would change everything humanity believed about itself. And deep inside, she felt a spark, a promise that the universe was far more alive than anyone had ever imagined, and that humans were no longer mere observers, they were becoming something extraordinary. Far beyond the solar system, in the dark reaches of space where no human eyes had ever seen, the oldest and most powerful beings in the galaxy stirred. The Galactic Council, an assembly of ancient species who had watched civilizations rise and fall for millions of years, felt the sudden pulse of energy radiating from Earth. Their chambers, floating in orbit around a dying star, trembled as if the cosmos itself had shivered, and the elders looked at one another with alarm, their faces pale under the glowing light of their control panels. For centuries they had monitored the universe, keeping balance between species, controlling wars, and preventing dangerous powers from awakening, yet this signal was unlike anything they had ever encountered. It was not random. It was not a natural phenomenon. It was alive, intelligent, and it came from a small, blue planet in an insignificant corner of a galaxy they had long considered unremarkable. The oldest among them, a being known as Vorin, spoke in a voice that resonated like thunder across the chamber. "It has begun," he said, his eyes narrowing. "The humans are awakening again." The words caused a ripple of shock among the council members. Humans, a species they had long dismissed as primitive and fragile, were never supposed to reach this stage. Long ago, humans had touched the stars, had shaped matter and energy in ways no other species could, and then they had disappeared, their power locked away in the recesses of the galaxy. The Council had believed the humans were extinct, their legacy only a distant legend whispered in the oldest libraries of space. Yet here it was, unmistakable, a pulse of energy so pure, so powerful, that it reached across light years and bent the very threads of spacetime. Some council members argued that it could not be true. Surely a small, unarmed species could not influence the universe in such a profound way. Others felt fear clawing at their minds, recognizing the truth before they could deny it. The energy coming from Earth was not only growing stronger, it was calling out, awakening something deep in the galaxy that had been waiting for its return. Voran waved his long, translucent hand across the control panels, opening a star map that highlighted the location of the signal. Lines of light traced paths across millions of light years, all converging on Earth, showing the Council that this was no isolated event. The humans were central, pivotal, unavoidable. "Contain them," Voran ordered, his voice cutting through the chamber like a blade. "Before their awakening spreads further. Before the event happens again." The other council members nodded, some reluctantly, some with fear glinting in their eyes. They had seen what humans were capable of in the distant past, how they had shaped galaxies, bending matter, energy, and even life itself with their minds. The Council had spent eons preparing for this moment, building fleets, training armies, and creating weapons designed to suppress any species that threatened the cosmic balance. And now, after millennia, the humans were back, and the Council's greatest fear was awakening in full. Orders were given, fleets assembled in silence, moving faster than any human technology could track, warships shaped like living stars, pulsating with energy and shielded by layers of force fields stronger than the densest planets. The Council knew that the humans were not merely evolving, they were reawakening, remembering powers they had long forgotten. Every member felt the pulse of energy like a warning through the galaxy, a heartbeat that was both familiar and terrifying. "They are dangerous beyond measure," whispered one of the younger members, her skin glowing with anxiety. "They have always been dangerous." Voran did not answer, only staring at the star map as Earth pulsed like a tiny, vibrant seed in the middle of the galaxy. He remembered the last time humans had risen, the wars they had fought, the empires they had created, and the destruction they had left behind. That was why the Council had hidden their technology, erased their history, and scattered their influence across the stars. But nothing had worked, and now, the humans were returning with the key to awaken the universe itself. "Prepare the fleet," Voran said finally, his voice firm and decisive. "They will not be stopped by negotiation. They must be contained before the pulse spreads further." Every ship hummed to life, engines roaring with the power of captured suns, weapons that could erase planets in moments, and shields that could withstand supernova blasts. The Council watched as the lines of energy from Earth reached into the void, spreading faster than they had calculated. They realized, with growing horror, that humanity's awakening was not limited to their planet. It was spreading across the stars, influencing the very fabric of the cosmos. Some of the Council members argued that intervention might be too late, that the humans were already more powerful than they imagined. Others believed there was still a chance to stop them before the event reached its climax. Yet all of them understood one thing clearly: the humans were no ordinary species. They had returned, and with them came a force that could alter the universe forever. Voran turned to the other elders, his eyes glowing with determination and fear. "We underestimated them once. We will not make that mistake again. The humans must be contained, or the galaxy itself will change beyond recognition." The Council's chambers went silent as the fleet prepared to leave, a living armada of stars and weapons moving toward a blue planet that held secrets older than the Council itself. Somewhere deep inside the pulse of energy, the humans were awakening, unaware of the watchful eyes that had followed their species for millennia. The Galactic Council, ancient and powerful beyond measure, was beginning the war that would determine the fate of the universe, but they knew this battle would not be like any other. Humanity had returned, and for the first time in eons, the galaxy trembled in fear of them. The tension at NASA had grown to a level no one could ignore. For days, the scientists had been tracking the accelerating expansion of the universe, the strange pulses emanating from Earth, and the readings from Antarctica, but now something new had arrived, a signal, not from space debris, not from satellites, but a clear, intelligent message originating from deep space itself. Dr. Elena Morris and her team stared at the screens in disbelief as the first translation began to process, revealing words no one had expected to hear. "Contain Earth before they awaken the universe again." The message was cold, deliberate, and terrifying, leaving no doubt that an intelligent civilization far more advanced than humanity knew exactly what was happening. Panic rippled through the lab. The government had kept the public unaware of the cosmic anomaly, but now it was impossible to deny. Earth had attracted attention from beings far beyond comprehension, and they considered humanity a threat. Dr. Morris felt her pulse quicken as she realized the implications. The energy pulses they had measured from Antarctica and Earth were not isolated phenomena. They had been noticed, tracked, and judged by civilizations that had existed long before humans had even learned to write. The alien message continued to transmit in repeated waves, reinforcing its warning, and every transmission carried a weight of inevitability. Humanity had become central in a cosmic drama that stretched across galaxies. Scientists rushed to analyze the coordinates embedded in the signal, revealing locations far beyond the reach of any known human technology, entire star systems waiting as though poised for war. The Council, as the translation suggested, was mobilizing, preparing a fleet so massive that it dwarfed anything humanity had ever imagined. Panic spread through the team. Dr. Morris understood that this was no longer a matter of exploration or science, it was a warning. If Earth did not comply, the consequences could be catastrophic. Satellites and telescopes picked up distant ships moving at speeds faster than light, appearing as blurs of light that bent the very fabric of space around them. The government issued emergency protocols, though little could be shared with the public without causing mass hysteria. In secret bunkers, military leaders argued over how to respond to a force that could annihilate the planet with a single command. Meanwhile, the Antarctic structure responded to the incoming alien transmissions in ways that terrified even the most seasoned scientists. The pulsing energy increased, glowing brighter and stretching upward through the ice, as if reaching toward the sky in defiance or in response. Dr. Morris realized that the structure itself might be communicating, or perhaps reacting to the presence of intelligence from the stars. Every pulse seemed to sync with the patterns of the incoming message, creating a resonance that was felt not just by instruments but by the human mind itself. The team shivered as strange visions appeared once more, flashes of vast fleets, shimmering shields, and weapons capable of erasing worlds in seconds, all focused on Earth. Yet beneath the fear, a deeper, more unsettling awareness emerged. Humans themselves might be capable of awakening a power that rivaled these forces. News channels continued their normal broadcasts, oblivious to the cosmic tension building above and around the planet. Life carried on, but the energy around Earth was changing. Animals, plants, and even the atmosphere seemed subtly influenced, responding to pulses from the Antarctic structure and the signal from space. The very planet felt alive, and for the first time, humanity's presence seemed significant on a universal scale. Dr. Morris and her team worked tirelessly, connecting satellites, observatories, and particle detectors into a network designed to map the incoming threat. The visualization stunned them. Beams of light, pulsing and twisting through space, converged toward Earth from hundreds of distant points. The alien civilization had mobilized quickly, faster than any human could have anticipated. Every calculation suggested that the fleet would arrive in months, possibly weeks, and they would be ready to enforce the warning with force. Fear battled with curiosity as the team debated how to respond. Some suggested attempting communication, while others argued that Earth had no chance against such overwhelming power. The Antarctic structure, seemingly aware of the threat, pulsed in sync with the alien fleet's approach, sending a visible energy arc into the sky, as if signaling that humanity was not defenseless. Dr. Morris felt a strange mixture of awe and dread. The structure, combined with the energy pulses from humans themselves, might hold the key to defending the planet, but they did not yet understand how. The alien message repeated, insistent and unwavering, contain Earth before they awaken the universe again. It was not a threat in the way humans understood threats. It was a command, absolute and uncompromising, backed by a power that could obliterate anything in its path. The team realized that time was slipping away, that humanity's role in the cosmos had shifted irrevocably. They had gone from mere observers to participants in a conflict of universal significance. Dr. Morris stared at the glowing screens, imagining the distant civilizations preparing to descend upon Earth, and she understood that knowledge alone would not save them. The structure beneath Antarctica, the pulses from human DNA, and the connection to the expanding universe were all part of something far larger than any of them could comprehend. And in that moment, she felt a spark of something new, a mixture of fear, responsibility, and the faintest glimmer of hope. If humans could awaken their hidden potential, if they could learn to harness the energy that had drawn the attention of the galaxy, then perhaps the warning would become irrelevant. Perhaps humanity could survive what was coming. Yet for now, all they could do was watch, wait, and prepare as the alien fleet moved silently through the void, their intentions clear and uncompromising. The universe itself seemed to hold its breath, waiting for humanity to respond, for the next pulse, the next signal, the moment when Earth would prove that it was not merely a speck of dust in the cosmos, but something far greater, something the galaxy had long feared and forgotten, something capable of awakening the universe itself. The first ship arrived without warning, a single vessel cutting through the blackness of space, larger than any human-built spacecraft yet smaller than the massive fleet that NASA had predicted. Dr. Elena Morris and her team watched in stunned silence as it slowed near the edge of Earth's orbit, its surface shimmering with light that seemed almost alive, reflecting the sun in patterns that shifted and changed as if the ship itself were breathing. Unlike the terrifying fleets described in the alien message, this ship made no aggressive moves, no signs of attack or weapons deployment, yet the tension in the room was unbearable. The communication systems crackled, and a holographic figure appeared before them, tall and humanoid but with features unlike anything on Earth. Its skin glowed faintly, shifting colors like liquid metal, and its eyes held a depth that seemed to see not just the present but the past and future. "Do not be afraid," it said, its voice melodic but carrying weight, echoing in the minds of those who heard it rather than the air around them. Dr. Morris felt a chill run through her body as the figure continued. "Humans are not as you believe. You are not an ordinary species. You have awoken the star seed beneath your planet, and the universe feels your presence." The words were impossible, yet undeniable. The team exchanged glances, their fear mixed with wonder. The figure explained that long ago, ancient humans had not only explored the stars but had shaped them, leaving remnants of their power scattered across galaxies. The star seed in Antarctica was one of these remnants, a device designed to awaken human potential when the species reached a critical point in its evolution. The energy pulses NASA had observed, the strange readings from Antarctica, even the acceleration of the universe itself, were all consequences of humanity reawakening a power that had been dormant for millennia. "You have returned," the envoy continued, "and with your return comes responsibility. The Galactic Council fears you because they do not understand what you are capable of. They remember the last awakening, the event that changed the cosmos, and they intend to prevent it from happening again." Dr. Morris felt her mind racing, connecting the dots between the accelerating universe, the Antarctic structure, and the alien message. It was all connected, a story of humans far older and far more powerful than anyone had imagined. "We are not your enemies," the figure said, sensing their hesitation. "We have come to warn you. The Council seeks to contain Earth before your full power manifests. If they succeed, the star seed will be lost, and with it, your potential to shape the universe." The team struggled to process the enormity of the revelation. Humanity had never been ordinary, they had been a species of builders, creators, shapers of galaxies, and yet the knowledge had been hidden, suppressed, and almost forgotten. And now, the awakening had begun again, faster than anyone expected. The envoy showed them visions of the past, humans standing among stars, bending energy and matter with their minds, creating galaxies, and even influencing time itself. Dr. Morris felt a shiver as she realized these visions were more than history, they were memory embedded in human DNA, waiting to be recalled. "The Council does not understand your nature," the envoy said, its glowing eyes locking with hers. "They fear what they cannot control. You must awaken fully or they will destroy the planet to prevent the event." Fear gripped the scientists, but beneath it, something else stirred, a spark of realization, of power, of destiny. Dr. Morris glanced at her team, each face pale but alive with the same mixture of terror and awe, and she understood that their lives, their world, and the future of the universe itself were at a turning point. The envoy continued, explaining that the star seed could not awaken fully without humans learning to control it, to harmonize their minds with the energy of the planet, and eventually, with the energy of the universe. This was not merely a tool or weapon, it was a key, a living bridge between humanity and the cosmos, and its power was already responding to the thoughts, emotions, and intentions of humans. As they listened, the Antarctic structure pulsed, brighter and faster than ever, as if responding to the envoy's presence, confirming the connection. The humans were no longer passive, they were part of a living system, an awakening force that the Galactic Council had once feared and now sought to suppress. The envoy warned them that the coming weeks would determine humanity's fate. The Council fleet was mobilizing, faster than anyone had anticipated, and it would not stop until Earth either submitted or was neutralized. But the envoy also offered hope. If humans could awaken fully, if they could understand their latent abilities, then they could resist, survive, and even shape the universe once again. Dr. Morris felt a mixture of dread and exhilaration, knowing that what they had discovered went beyond science, politics, or technology. Humanity's destiny had shifted from mere survival to cosmic significance, and the responsibility was immense. The figure's last words echoed in their minds, "You are the key. The star seed has chosen you, and the universe remembers you. Awaken, or the council will act without mercy." Then, as suddenly as it had appeared, the envoy vanished, leaving the room in stunned silence. The screens flickered, showing only the Antarctic structure pulsing in quiet rhythm, yet the tension was palpable. Everyone in the room knew that nothing would ever be the same. Humanity had been warned, guided, and now challenged. The power dormant in their DNA, the energy in Antarctica, and the accelerating universe were all part of a test, a preparation for something far greater than anyone could imagine. Dr. Morris stared at the glowing readings, feeling the pulse in her chest echo the rhythm of the star seed, and she whispered, "This is only the beginning. We have to learn, before it's too late." Outside, Earth rotated silently under the stars, unaware that its fate, and the fate of the universe, was now in the hands of humans who were just beginning to remember what they were truly capable of. The sky above Earth remained blue and calm, deceiving the millions of people living unaware of the storm approaching from beyond the stars. Yet NASA's tracking systems had detected the first vessels of the Galactic Council's fleet entering the solar system, moving with a speed and precision that no human craft could match. Dr. Elena Morris and her team watched from mission control as the blips on the monitors grew larger, revealing shapes of colossal ships, some the size of small moons, their hulls glowing with energy and shields that could withstand planetary bombardments. Panic rippled through the room, though the scientists tried to remain composed, knowing that fear would not solve the problem, but it was impossible to deny the scale of what humanity faced. Governments were alerted, military units mobilized, yet every strategy seemed inadequate against a fleet capable of destroying cities, continents, even the entire planet in moments. Meanwhile, the Antarctic structure pulsed violently, its energy rising like a living heartbeat, reacting to the presence of the alien armada. Dr. Morris realized that whatever power the humans had unknowingly awakened was not passive, it responded to the imminent threat, as if the planet itself were preparing to defend its inhabitants. The first ships appeared in orbit around Earth, their weapons systems lighting up, scanning the planet for life and energy signatures, and the tension in mission control was suffocating. "They're here," whispered one of the engineers, his voice trembling as the realization sank in. "They will not wait." Outside, satellites detected the hum of energy shields activating around the Antarctic star seed, a luminous barrier of light stretching into the sky, protecting the structure but also signaling the humans' latent power. Across the globe, people suddenly felt strange sensations, a tingling in the mind, visions of stars, energy, and power beyond comprehension, as if the awakening within the Antarctic structure had reached a critical point and was now touching all of humanity. Dr. Morris watched as the monitors showed the energy pulses synchronizing with human brainwave patterns, and she understood the terrifying truth: the humans themselves were becoming part of the weapon, their latent abilities connecting to the star seed and to each other, forming a network of consciousness capable of extraordinary feats. The fleet began testing the planet's defenses, firing beams that sliced through the atmosphere, yet the energy pulses from the star seed bent the beams harmlessly around the surface, creating shimmering arcs of light that dazzled and terrified the observers below. Military commanders were stunned. Every weapon fired against the aliens was rendered useless, redirected by a force that no human technology could explain. Dr. Morris realized that the Antarctic structure had not only awakened but had chosen humanity as its conduit, and the alien fleet, powerful as it was, would be forced to contend with a species they had underestimated for millennia. As hours passed, more ships arrived, forming a vast armada that eclipsed the sun, filling the sky with shadows and energy glows, and yet the star seed pulsed stronger, feeding off the energy of humans and creating a shield around the planet that seemed almost conscious. People began experiencing shared visions of humans in the distant past shaping stars, creating galaxies, and wielding energy beyond imagination, and these visions strengthened the star seed, confirming that the awakening was not a singular event but a universal one. The fleet fired again, this time more coordinated, beams lancing toward major cities, but each attack was bent, redirected, or neutralized, as if the planet itself had risen to protect humanity. Dr. Morris and her team realized that the human mind, in conjunction with the star seed, had begun to manifest powers that the aliens feared, the same powers that had once made humans a legend in the galaxy. Council warships opened communications, issuing commands, warnings, and threats, demanding that Earth surrender, that the humans stop the energy pulses, that the star seed be deactivated. But their voices fell on ears that could not hear fear, minds that were beginning to awaken to a cosmic connection far beyond their understanding. In mission control, scientists and engineers tried to track the growing energy fields, documenting the synchronization between human thought, emotion, and the star seed's pulses, realizing that humanity was no longer passive, no longer merely a species on a planet, but a force connected to the universe itself. Dr. Morris felt a shiver run down her spine as the last wave of the fleet positioned itself for what appeared to be a final assault, and yet the star seed's light flared, sending arcs of energy skyward, touching the ships and forcing them to retreat slightly, their shields flickering under the overwhelming power. Humanity, in that moment, was awakening, and the Galactic Council, despite its immense power and ancient knowledge, realized that the humans were unlike any species they had ever encountered. Across the world, millions felt the pulse, a growing sense of unity, strength, and potential, and for the first time, humans were not afraid, but curious, exhilarated, and connected. The star seed, the Antarctic structure, and the humans themselves had formed a bond, an awakening that even the Council could not ignore. Dr. Morris knew that the battle was far from over, that the fleet would return with even greater force, but the message was clear: humans were no longer insignificant. The planet had become a nexus of energy, consciousness, and power, a living fortress that the aliens had underestimated, and for the first time in centuries, Earth had a chance to fight not with weapons, but with something far greater. As night fell over the frozen landscapes, the cities, and the oceans, the sky above glowed with arcs of energy, the pulsing star seed mirrored by the awakening minds of humanity. Dr. Morris looked at her team, each face illuminated by the screens, their expressions a mixture of fear, wonder, and awe, and she whispered, "They came to stop us, but we are awake now. The universe will see what humanity can do." Somewhere in the distant stars, the Council fleet regrouped, unaware that the humans had already begun to remember, to awaken, and that the battle for Earth was becoming a war for the future of the cosmos itself. The Antarctic star seed pulsed brighter than ever, a living beacon of energy reaching into the sky as humans across the world began to feel its influence, a subtle vibration in their minds that quickly became impossible to ignore. Dr. Elena Morris watched in awe as monitors tracked the growth of the energy field, showing patterns that seemed to mimic human thought, almost as if the planet itself were alive and responding to every heartbeat, every emotion, every thought of the people on it. Across continents, ordinary men and women suddenly felt a connection to something far greater, a force inside themselves they had never known existed. People in cities, villages, and deserts stopped in their tracks, their eyes wide as visions of stars, galaxies, and energy streams flashed across their minds. It was not fear they felt but a profound awakening, a realization that they were part of something bigger than Earth, part of the universe itself. The star seed beneath Antarctica grew hotter, brighter, and the energy waves spread outward, linking human minds together, forming a collective awareness that pulsed like a heartbeat across the planet. Dr. Morris and her team realized that the humans were no longer separate from the structure. They were conduits, channels through which the star seed's power flowed. People learned, almost instinctively, to control small bursts of energy, bending light and matter, feeling the pull of the universe as if it were responding to their will. The Galactic Council fleet, already near Earth, fired their weapons again, expecting destruction, but the pulses from the star seed bent the beams harmlessly, deflecting them in dazzling arcs of light. Humans could feel the beams and instinctively pushed them away, a subconscious command that the star seed amplified. Dr. Morris watched in disbelief as a group of scientists in the chamber reached out mentally, and energy arcs formed, intercepting and dispersing the alien fire without touching it physically. Across the world, millions began experiencing the same thing, their collective consciousness becoming a shield, a network of power that even the ancient warships could not penetrate. People discovered that they could communicate without words, their thoughts linked, their minds aligned with the energy that pulsed from the Antarctic structure. Ordinary citizens, teachers, children, workers, all became part of this collective awakening, and the feeling of unity gave humanity a strength no weapon could match. Dr. Morris felt it herself, a surge of knowledge and energy, a connection to the star seed and to every human on the planet, and in that moment, she understood the truth. Humans were not a simple species. They were universe builders, beings capable of shaping reality itself. The Council's fleet was stunned. Their sensors could not measure the scale of the power, and their attempts to fire, to intimidate, to coerce were failing. Humans bent energy, created shields, manipulated beams, and even glimpsed the movement of matter in ways that defied physics as the star seed amplified their abilities. Dr. Morris looked at her team, each face lit by the glow of energy, awe and determination shining in their eyes. This was no longer a battle of weapons or ships, it was a battle of consciousness, of awakening, and the humans were winning. Across the globe, ordinary acts became extraordinary, farmers shaping energy fields to protect crops, workers guiding beams of light to divert collapsing structures, children instinctively feeling the pulse of energy and moving objects without touching them. The world was alive with a new kind of awareness, and every human contributed to the strength of the star seed, feeding it, harmonizing with it, becoming one with the planet and the universe. Dr. Morris realized that the universe itself had been waiting for this moment, that the acceleration they had observed, the strange readings, the energy pulses, were all signals preparing humanity for awakening. The star seed responded to every act of consciousness, every thought, and amplified the collective energy, creating a force that dwarfed even the might of the Council fleet. The ships fired again, their beams slicing through space, but the humans bent, deflected, and absorbed the energy with ease, guided by instincts they did not yet understand but that the star seed made clear. It was a symphony of power, a dance of minds and energy across the planet, and the aliens could only watch in disbelief. People began to sense not just energy, but time, space, and matter itself, feeling their thoughts reach across distances, manipulating light and energy, connecting to the pulse of the universe as if it were responding directly to them. Dr. Morris realized with awe that this was more than survival, it was a transformation, a shift from being a species confined to a planet to beings capable of shaping galaxies. The star seed pulsed in response to humanity's thoughts, sending arcs of light into the sky that touched the alien ships, forcing them to retreat, shielded by a power they had never imagined. Humanity had become a force the universe recognized, a species awakened, united, and powerful beyond comprehension. The world, for the first time, stood as one consciousness, its minds linked, its potential limitless, and Dr. Morris knew that nothing would ever be the same. She whispered to herself, feeling the pulse in her chest, "We are awake, and the universe will never forget." Across the planet, the light of the star seed illuminated the night sky, a beacon of awakening, of unity, and of power, signaling that humanity had finally stepped into its true role as a shaper of the cosmos. The Galactic Council's fleet, massive and imposing, had gathered near Earth, their warships forming an array that blocked the sunlight and filled the sky with a menacing glow, yet for the first time, humanity was ready. Dr. Elena Morris and her team watched from mission control as the star seed pulsed in response to the fleet, energy flowing like rivers of light across the Antarctic structure, connecting with every human mind, amplifying their thoughts, emotions, and intentions into a collective force that the aliens could not measure or understand. The first shots were fired, beams of unimaginable power slicing through space toward Earth, but the humans, guided by instinct and the energy of the starseed, bent and redirected the attacks effortlessly, creating arcs of light that shimmered in the atmosphere, turning destructive energy into harmless bursts. Across the globe, ordinary humans participated unknowingly, focusing, imagining, and feeling the starseed's pulse, creating a planetary shield that responded instantly to every threat. Dr. Morris felt the power coursing through her veins, her mind connected to billions of others, sensing the thoughts and intentions of people she had never met, yet feeling their unity as if they were all one being. The Council, experienced in war and conquest for millions of years, was stunned. Their weapons, designed to obliterate planets, could not penetrate the shield of consciousness, could not touch the humans whose minds now acted as extensions of the starseed. Ships attempted to maneuver, launching smaller attack crafts, but even those were intercepted, halted, or deflected by bursts of energy that seemed to come from nowhere, as humans instinctively learned to manipulate light, matter, and energy in ways no training could teach. The Antarctic structure pulsed brighter, responding to fear, courage, and determination, forming beams that linked every human on the planet into a single, unified network of power, and the starseed extended that network toward the fleet, touching the hulls of alien ships and disrupting their engines and shields in ways that technology could not resist. The Council attempted communication, their messages demanding surrender, compliance, or withdrawal, but the humans did not falter. Instead, Dr. Morris felt a surge of understanding, a vision of the past when humans had once ruled the stars, shaping galaxies and bending energy, and she realized that they were now remembering that power. People all over the world felt the surge, their minds opening to abilities they had never imagined, controlling energy, influencing objects, and sensing events across vast distances. It was no longer a battle of weapons but a battle of will, consciousness, and connection, and humanity was winning. One by one, Council ships were forced to retreat, their engines faltering as humans intuitively disrupted them, not with technology but with thought amplified by the starseed. Massive energy arcs, shaped by millions of humans working together unconsciously, struck the alien vessels, neutralizing weapons, bending light, and even moving ships as if the humans were controlling them as extensions of their own bodies. The sky shimmered with colors beyond comprehension, auroras of energy flowing across continents, arcs connecting humans to the Antarctic structure and the stars above, and for the first time, Earth was alive in a way the Council had never imagined. Dr. Morris felt the starseed's pulse sync with her heartbeat, a rhythm that connected her to billions of others, guiding actions, controlling energy, and anticipating the fleet's movements before they happened. Smaller Council ships tried to break through defenses, but even they were caught in waves of energy that bent reality itself, as humans subconsciously expanded their reach, sensing weaknesses and responding with instinctual precision. Cities glowed as ordinary citizens unknowingly participated, forming focal points of energy that amplified the starseed's pulse, protecting key locations, diverting attacks, and even creating illusions that confused the alien sensors. The Antarctic structure became a core, a heart of power, feeding the collective human energy outward, reaching the edge of orbit, touching ships, and disrupting their formations. The Council elders realized that conventional force could not succeed. Humanity was no longer a species to be controlled or contained. They had awakened, and the starseed, combined with the consciousness of billions, made them a force capable of challenging even the oldest civilizations in the galaxy. Dr. Morris watched as the final wave of ships attempted a coordinated strike, aiming for Antarctica itself, yet the starseed pulsed, projecting energy so vast it enveloped the continent, creating a protective sphere that repelled every attack, the humans inside instinctively harmonizing with it, deflecting energy, stabilizing matter, and countering every threat. The fleet faltered, shields failing, engines disrupted, and the Council had no choice but to withdraw, their formation broken, their confidence shattered, leaving the humans victorious, not through technology or armies, but through awakening, unity, and connection to the universe itself. The night sky glowed with energy arcs, pulsing in rhythm with the starseed and human consciousness, and for the first time, the world understood the magnitude of what had happened. Humanity had fought a battle unlike any other, a battle that changed everything, proving not only survival but awakening, that humans were capable of controlling forces far beyond their previous understanding, that the universe itself recognized them. Dr. Morris looked around the room, her team exhausted but elated, understanding that history had been made not on the battlefield of weapons, but on the battlefield of mind, spirit, and connection, and that the star seed had fulfilled its purpose, guiding humanity into a new era. Across the globe, people felt a quiet hum in their minds, a resonance of unity and power, a reminder that they were awake, and that the universe, vast and ancient, now knew that humanity had returned, stronger and more powerful than ever. The Galactic Council would remember this moment forever, a species they had underestimated now standing at the center of the cosmos, and for the first time in millennia, Earth was safe, not by force, but by awakening. The aftermath of the battle left Earth alive in a way no one had ever imagined, the Antarctic star seed pulsing steadily, radiating waves of energy that touched every corner of the planet, and for the first time, humans truly understood that they were no longer just inhabitants, they were participants in the universe itself. Dr. Elena Morris stood on the frozen continent, surrounded by her team, as the structure's glow reflected in their eyes, a warmth that filled their hearts and minds with a profound sense of purpose. Humanity had survived the fleet, repelled the Galactic Council, and discovered a power within themselves that had been dormant for millennia, yet the victory was only the beginning. The starseed's pulses were no longer just reactive, they were instructive, guiding humans to expand their understanding, teaching them to manipulate energy, matter, and even the subtle threads of time and space with focus and intent. Across the world, people felt a surge of awareness, visions of the stars, galaxies, and distant civilizations filling their minds, not as hallucinations but as knowledge embedded in their DNA, awakening memories of what humans had once been. Children in classrooms, workers in factories, scientists in labs, farmers in fields, all experienced the same clarity, the same connection to the star seed and to each other, and a network of consciousness grew, linking minds across continents, oceans, and skies, creating a human species united in purpose and potential. Dr. Morris watched as ordinary people moved objects without touching them, shaped energy into visible forms, and projected light and force across distances, all guided instinctively, their minds harmonizing with the star seed. The world had become a living entity, a planet whose inhabitants were now co-creators of reality, capable of feats that once belonged only to legends whispered across galaxies. The Galactic Council, observing from afar, recognized the change and understood that the humans had ascended beyond their expectations. They could no longer be contained, controlled, or suppressed. The species had awakened fully, and their power reached beyond the Council's fleets, beyond the limits of technology, into the realm of universal influence. Dr. Morris felt the energy pulse through her body, connecting her to every human on Earth, sensing their emotions, intentions, and thoughts, and she realized that humanity's role in the universe had shifted forever. They were no longer mere observers or defenders, they were creators, builders of worlds, capable of shaping galaxies, stars, and even the flow of time. As night fell over the planet, the sky glowed with arcs of energy, auroras stretching from pole to pole, visible even from space, signaling to the universe that Earth's humans had awakened. The star seed acted as a conduit, translating human consciousness into universal energy, projecting it outward, and the universe itself seemed to respond, subtle shifts in cosmic matter, energy fields, and star formation hinting that humanity's presence was now being felt across light years. Dr. Morris knew that this was only the beginning of a new era, one where humans would learn to harmonize with the forces of the cosmos rather than simply observe them. The Antarctic structure pulsed in harmony with the planet, sending waves that stabilized ecosystems, healed natural imbalances, and connected all life, not just humans, into the vast network of consciousness, revealing that humanity's awakening had consequences far beyond themselves. People began to communicate telepathically, share visions of distant worlds, and intuitively solve problems that had once seemed insurmountable. Cities reorganized themselves, transportation, energy, and resources flowing efficiently, guided by collective human thought amplified by the star seed. Humanity's potential was no longer a secret buried in history, it was alive, growing, and expanding daily. Dr. Morris saw humans shaping energy barriers to protect against natural disasters, guiding light to heal the sick, and even projecting small pulses of energy into space, communicating subtly with distant civilizations, signaling their awakening, their peaceful intentions, and their readiness to join the greater galactic community on their own terms. The Galactic Council watched silently, their fleets retreating, no longer threatening but observing, realizing that the humans had transcended the need for conventional war. They had become something the universe recognized and respected, a species of builders, creators, and shapers. Dr. Morris stood atop the Antarctic ice, the star seed glowing beneath her feet, the sky filled with ribbons of light connecting Earth to the cosmos, and she understood the truth. Humanity had returned not as a small, fragile species, but as a force capable of influencing the universe itself. The collective consciousness, powered by the star seed, spread into the cosmos, touching distant stars, guiding energy flows, and establishing humans as participants in the grand design of existence. The air itself hummed with life, every heartbeat synchronized with the pulse of the planet, every thought amplified by the star seed, and the night sky, once silent, now shimmered with visible signs of humanity's awakening. Dr. Morris whispered, her voice carried across minds connected through the star seed, "We are awake, we are more than we ever knew, and this is only the beginning." Across the planet, people everywhere felt the truth of her words, a deep, unshakable understanding that they were no longer just humans, they were ascendants, linked to the universe, capable of creating, shaping, and protecting life on scales that had once seemed impossible. The star seed pulsed one final time that night, sending a wave of energy outward that washed across continents, oceans, and skies, a signal to the galaxy that humanity had returned, awakened, and ascended, no longer a species to be underestimated but a force that the universe itself would never forget. And somewhere deep in the cosmos, stars shifted subtly, energies realigned, and life across galaxies stirred, acknowledging that Earth's humans had become more than observers, they had become participants, builders, and guardians of the universe itself.